sometimes the technology works and sometimes lets you down.
Just give me a minute. Just give me a minute now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. We're okay now?
Right. My name is Luciane Bauker. Good morning, everyone. I'm the clerk and I work for Democratic Services in Woking Borough Council. I'm going to start the meeting by asking the panel members to elect a chair for this meeting, please. Rebecca, you're on mute.
I'd like to propose Rob Coomer to be the chair.
Thank you. Stephen?
Happy to second that, yeah.
Cool, okay.
Over to you, Rob.
All right, thank you very much, and thank you everyone for coming along to the this hearing today. First of all, I'd like to just introduce the members of the subcommittee. That's myself, Rob Coomer, Rebecca Margetts, and Stephen Newton. And members of the committee, can I ask if we have any interests to declare?
No.
No. Fine. So what we're going to do today is to go through this application. We will hear from the trading standards. So who's
Rob,
applying?
we just lost Rebecca.
Oh. Yeah, the internet.
We have.
Let's just give her a couple of minutes to rejoin.
Sorry.
Clearly the technology is not in our favor today, is it? Here we go.
Very sorry, I don't know what happened there. I got kicked out of the meeting. I do apologise, but I am back. Sorry if I missed anything, Rob.
That's okay. No, you didn't. We were waiting back for you. So the process today is we're going to go through this application. We shall hear from the licensing officer, from the trading standards representative, the police representative, and the license holder, his representative, and any other interested parties that we have. As a subcommittee, we can only hear representations that are relevant to the licensing objectives. And as a reminder, the licensing objectives that we have are the prevention of crime and disorder, public safety, the prevention of public nuisance, and the protection of children from harm. Just for the avoidance of doubt, so to speak, can I just go through the members, those present, and get them to just introduce themselves and their roles on today's hearing? Rachel, can I start with you?
Good morning. So I'm Rachel Lucas. I'm legal advisor to the panel today.
Lucienne's already introduced herself. Glenda?
Hi, good morning. Glenda Cameron Lloyd from Public Protection Partnership Trading Standards Service, and I'm the applicant.
And I'll skip over Stephen because I've already introduced you as one of the members of the panel. Jennifer?
Morning, my name's Jennifer Lee. I'm a solicitor. I work with Rachel and I'm just here to shadow today.
Yeah. Alec?
Hiya, I'm Alec, licensing officer working Borough Council, presenting the report today.
And Gary?
Yeah, Gary Clark, Thames Valley Police licensing officer for the Wokingham area.
And Surendra?
I'm Surendra Panchal. I'm representing Mr. Kapoor here for the license holder and the DPS of the premises.
And
So,
Chairman, can I just check, are we live streaming at the moment?
Yes.
We are.
We are. Okay, no, that's fine. Thank you.
And Mr. Kapoor, you're obviously happy with Mr. Panchal as your representative?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Right, in which case we'll go straight on and we will start by, if we may, hearing from the licensing officer. So I guess, Alec, if you could present your report, please.
Thank you, Chair. So, members are requested to determine the application for review of a premises licence in accordance with Section 52 of the Licensing Act 2003, having regard to the review application, representations received, and the requirement to promote the 4 licensing objectives. Section 51 of the Licensing Act 2003 provides that responsible authority to apply to the licensing authority for review of a premises licence. The purpose of this report is to provide the relevant information for the subcommittee to consider and determine the application from trading standards as a responsible authority for a review of a premises licence at Brecon Food and Wine, 1 The Parade, Brecon Road, Woodley, RG5 4PS. The following options are open to the Licensing and Appeals Subcommittee: to modify the conditions of the licence permanently or for a period not exceeding 3 months, to exclude a licensable activity from the scope of the licence permanently or for a period not exceeding 3 months, to remove the designated premises supervisor, to suspend the licence for a period not exceeding 3 months, to revoke the licence, to issue formal warnings to the designated premises supervisor and or the premises licence holder, or to take no action. The premises licence PR0226 relates to Brecon Food and Wine, 1 The Parade, Brecon Road, Woodley, RG5 4PS. The licence authorises the supply of alcohol for consumption off of the premises from 0800 to 2300 hours Monday to Saturday, and 1000 to 22:30 hours Friday and Saturday. Sunday that should be, sorry. The licence holder and designated premises supervisor is Mr. Kulbir Singh Kapoor. His personal licence is issued by the London Borough of Brent Council. The premises licence is attached as Appendix A. An application for review of the premises licence was submitted by Trading Standards as a responsible authority on the 28th of March 2025. A copy was also sent to the premises licence holder. The grounds for the review are the sale of age-restricted products to children, the sale of illicit e-cigarettes, the sale of counterfeit vodka found to be injurious to health, and the possession of duty-evaded alcohol at the premises. These give the applicant grounds to believe that the licence holder has failed to meet the three licensing objectives of the prevention of crime and disorder, public safety, and the protection of children from harm. Full details of the review are set out in the review application and supporting information, which is attached as Appendix B in your pack. The application has been properly made and all procedures correctly followed. Photographs of the blue site notices in place are attached as Appendix C. Responsible authorities included in the consultation are Thames Valley Police, Royal Berkshire Fire and Rescue, Environmental Health, Public Health, the Local Planning Authority, the Local Safeguarding Children Board, and Home Office Immigration Enforcement. One representation was received from Thames Valley Police in support of the review, recommending revocation of the licence. This is attached as Appendix D. Additionally, 9 representations were received from other persons, 3 in favour of the review and 6 against it. These are attached as Appendix E. Those that have made a representation have been informed of the date and time of the Licensing and Appeals Subcommittee hearing and have been informed of their right to attend. In terms of legal considerations, conditions may only be attached to a premises licence where they are deemed appropriate for the promotion of the licensing objectives. They must be proportionate and not duplicate any existing provisions contained in other legislation. The justification behind a refusal or the attachment of conditions must be given to the applicant. The subcommittee is advised that any findings on any issues of fact should be on the balance of probabilities, and any decision should be based on the individual merits of the application. The subcommittee, in arriving at its decision, must have regard to relevant provisions of national guidance and its own statement of licensing policy, and reasons should be given for any departure. There is a right of appeal to the Magistrates' Court within 21 days from the date the applicant is notified of the decision of the Licensing Subcommittee. That concludes my report. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much, Alec. Now we will move on to a section for Glenda as the applicant to present their case.
Hi, thank you. Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Earlier on I introduced myself as Glenda Cameron Lloyd from the Public Protection Trading Standards Service. And I understand that everyone here today will have read the details that have been provided by our service. And as we've already heard, Trading Standards is the responsible authority as defined by the Licensing Act 2003. The overall principles of our service is to ensure a fair and safe trading environment. We wish to support those businesses who are good for our communities. Good businesses, they provide a service, they provide employment, they contribute to taxes, and they have a positive effect on society. The last thing that we want to do is hinder a good business. So just like Thames Valley Police and other regulatory bodies, we embrace a stepped and measured approach in tackling issues and preventing breaches of the law. So therefore, it is extremely unfortunate and regrettable that we find ourselves here and in this position today. Within the space of a year or so, we have received 11 reports of alleged underage sales of cigarettes, vapes and alcohol, with a visit in October of 2024 seizing counterfeit Glen's vodka, which has been rendered injurious to health due to levels of propane contained within it, and duty evaded Smirnoff vodka. We've issued 2 warning letters and we've visited the premises 5 times. And that is on top of all of the police engagement that they have done. And we therefore feel that we have explored all reasonable avenues. We acknowledge that some of the complaints that we have received were in relation to vapes and cigarettes, as well as reports of alleged alcohol sales. And from the documents produced, you can see that the police have also dealt with alcohol-related issues. So with a combined data, a clear picture is presented of the management and operation of the business failing to comply with the expectations in the law. The fact that we have received reports from concerned members of the public alleging that they have witnessed the sale of cigarettes and other age-restricted products, reports of alleged sales to minors as young as 12 years old, and with the continuation of these reports coming in to us after the failed Trading Standards test purchase operation in December 2023, which resulted in a warning letter being issued in March 2024, and along with further reports dated the 11th of April 2025, 12 days after the notification of this licence review, is disappointing beyond words. This is not a type of business practice that benefits the community. This is not the kind of practice that protects children from harm. And after seeking legal advice, this service therefore had no alternative but to submit this application with a request to revoke the licence, or at the very least to suspend it and vary the current conditions, as they do not promote the 4 licensing objectives. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Glenda. Do any members of the subcommittee have any questions for Trading Standards for Glenda?
Not at this stage, thank you, Chair.
No, nor me. And the representative from the other responsible authority, the police, Gary, do you have any questions for Glenda?
No.
No. And I'm going to allow any questions from Mr. Panchala as a representative of Mr. Kapoor. Do you have any questions for Glenda?
No, thank you very much, Chair.
Fine, thank you very much. We'll move on and hear from another responsible authority present here, which is the police. Gary, would you like to give us your take on this?
Yeah, again, obviously, I submitted a representation, which I hope everyone's had the opportunity to read. As pointed out by Glenda, we have had a number of complaints along with the council regarding underage sales at this premise, and we have visited the premise on at least 2 occasions jointly with a representative from the licensing authority to discuss these. as Glenda pointed out, the latest incident that we have involving a 12-year-old girl, you know, this happened even after we'd served, or the papers had been served for the review, which in our opinion just clearly highlights the lack of due diligence by the business and the DPS involved. As far as the objection around crime and disorder, we have to, I've raised serious questions as to how these goods were purchased for the store. As we all know, shoplifting is rife throughout the country, not just in the southeast. At a meeting we held prior to making the decision to review this license, certain things were stated about how these goods were obtained, which, you know, it's just not acceptable. Counterfeit products, I mean, obviously you've got absolutely zero control about what goes into these counterfeit products. So as far as public safety is concerned, I mean, obviously I've highlighted in there the overseas incident, which resulted in fatalities, which is, in our opinion, you know, obviously this did not happen in this case, but the potential is there when you're willingly selling products where there's been no control as to how they've been produced. Just checking through my thing. Anything else I want to highlight? I mean, as I say, I mean, it's a case of how these products were purchased, where these products have originally come from, the people that would have been involved in making these products available. You know, so it's say 3 out of 4 licensing objectives, as far as we are concerned, have been completely compromised, and therefore we fully support the recommendation from Trading Standards to have this license revoked.
Thank you. Thank you, Gary. Members of the subcommittee, have we got any questions for Gary at this time?
Not for me, thank you, Chair.
Yeah, Gary, thank you for that. I did look up myself about this Provan O2 that is listed that was found in the vodka. Could you just explain to us how serious that could be to anybody, adult or child, if they were, because I couldn't find much information about it. Thank you.
I must admit, I can't shed any more light on what that might be and what the level of risk to the health is, but it's not, to me, it's not the case of what was actually in it. It's the fact that you don't know what's in it. It could have been anything. It was tested, I believe, and Glenda can confirm that, and it came back as a warning, health. I'm not sure what how they call it, injurious substance. So
yes.
So as I say, I mean, you could say we were fortunate in this instance that it wasn't anything more serious.
Yeah. Okay, thank you. So, I mean, what you're saying is that from your experience with these counterfeit alcohol, we have no idea what could be in any of these products and the seriousness. So, sorry, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Fine. And I'm probably not, but Glenda, do you have any questions for Gary?
No, I don't have any questions, but I can confirm that the Glen's vodka was tested, and as detailed in my report and my application, that it contained propane substance, which is a cleaning fluid. And when consumed, it is injurious to health because not only can it make the person extremely unwell, in a sense that they can obviously get sort of poisoning from it. If you consume too much, then it can result in internal injuries, which can be life-changing, as well as there is a risk potentially of death if the propane was consumed in large quantities. which, as you can imagine, with propane, it's a chemical fluid which is used for cleaning. So the connotations of that would obviously, injurious to health, makes it that it could do internal injury to the person. Okay.
Can I just ask for some clarification there? And maybe that's my hearing. You're talking about propane there. Is propane a constituent of Proban, which was the referenced?
Sorry, Proban. Sorry, that's
Proban, which I think is a flame. I think Proban is, in my research, Proban is a flame retardant chemical treatment, which I would imagine doesn't sound healthy.
Yeah, that's right. Sorry, my pronunciation wasn't correct there. It's okay. Proban. Yeah, Proban O2.
Yeah, fine. Thank you very much.
Yeah. Okay.
Fine. And I'm going to allow questions. Mr. Panchal, do you have any questions for Glenda for trading for Gary for the police?
Yes, Chair. Thank you very much for allowing me. I'm happy to ask questions with Glenda and Gary together, if you allow me to.
Well, you had the opportunity to ask Glenda questions a minute ago, so perhaps we're now addressing questions to the police, the Gary who's just presented his portion.
Yeah, Chair. Chair, my question is very simple. There was an interview, if I'm not mistaken. Are you aware of that, Gary? That there was an interview carried out to Mr. Kapoor regarding these products that they were found.
When I had the meeting, or when we had our initial meeting regarding this incident, I was aware that there was due to be a meeting with your clients, described as a PACE meeting, which was going to be conducted, I believe, by Glenda and her team. I don't know the outcome of that meeting.
Just to inform you that during that meeting, my client was aware. He did mention that the bottles that he bought was from a previous shop owner who said, my shop is closed, so I'm selling you this stock. Is that what Mr. Kapoor said during that meeting? Were you aware of that?
I was told, or it was inferred during our earlier meeting, that it was bankrupt stock.
Yeah, bankrupt stock from a previous shop owner who went bankrupt.
That's correct. What a bankrupt stock is, isn't it?
As soon as, sorry, Chair, it's very important to understand this, because when you're making your decision, it's important for you to understand what actually transpired. During when it was found out that the vodka was counterfeit, Mr. Kapoor immediately leftover of 5 bottles, which he was left in his store, immediately came up to you and Glenda that here I've got still 5 more bottles. Can you please destroy it for me also? Because since I've now found out that they are counterfeit.
I'm not aware of that.
Would you like me to answer those?
Yep. Yes, if you like.
Yep. Thank you for your comments. Yes, I can confirm there was a police and criminal evidence interview, tape recorded interview, which is in relation to the ongoing case with regards to the counterfeit Glen's vodka that was found at Mr. Kapoor's shop on the 9th of October. A file has been submitted to our legal department for review, and there may be charges laid, but I am unable to say anything further with regards to that case due to the impact of possible proceedings that may occur as a result of that case being laid before our legal department. I can confirm that Mr. Kapoor did attend that interview, and I can confirm that he was very open and that he was very helpful to our inquiries, in the sense that he was very happy to answer all of our questions. And I can confirm that he also provided us with 3 bottles of Glen's vodka, which he had found on his premise. He had stated that he had found 4, and then he kept 1 because he wanted to confirm whether or not it wasn't the right one. and then he provided us the further 3 to dispose of. So that was the conclusion.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Do you mind, can I ask a question on that then, Mr. Panchal, just for clarification? So the suggestion is that this is bankrupt stock which was held. How long has Mr. Kapoor had these premises? Because the license runs from 2005, I think.
That's correct.
So the suggestion is that that's been sitting around there since 2005.
No. The bottles weren't sitting there since 2005.
2018.
2018, Mr. Kapoor took over the premises.
Okay, they've been sitting there since 2018 then.
No. The bottles weren't sitting there in 2018. Sorry, Chair. The bottle was bought.
The bottle was bought from someone who closed his shop and came outside my shop with his van. So I bought it recently, means.
Okay, so you bought it from somebody off the.
From somebody who said my shop is closed down and I've got one case left, and he bought it. So as soon as I found out that this is not something I should sell, and the trading standard seized the 16 bottles, and then trading standard told me that we will let you know if the alcohol is it's got something in there. So in the meantime, I took that 4 bottles I had at home. I told my staff not to sell this if this is dangerous to anyone. So when I called for an interview, I took that 4 bottles as well. I said, look, it was a mistake. I will never give somebody something which is dangerous for their health. So.
Thank you very much. Do you have any last questions for Gary, Mr. Panchal?
No, thank you very much, Chair.
Gary,
Sorry, sir.
I just want to ask one question to Mr. Gary, because as he mentioned that recently there was a purchase for 12 years old. I am not aware of it, and can you tell me more about it? Because to sell 12 years old, this is because I've got kids as well, and I will never do that things to anyone's kids. So can you tell me when was that, and what is the, who sells for 12 years old, and what did we sell?
Gary, can you provide any information?
Yeah. Unmute Gary, please.
Always make that mistake.
No.
I was going to say there is a report as part of the pack that covers that incident. I'm going to sort of try and thumb through my paperwork and see where it is. As I say, this came through when I was compiling the report. Gonna have to look through and see if I can find this. It's the 14-year-old one.
Because basically what happened since this happened, I'm more conscious. I've got more staff available in the shop store because I've got a problem with the kids outside. So I've got another staff.
Right. You'll see one of the, I think I've listed it as number 3. It was 17th of April 2025. As I say, this report came in from a relative of the girl who had purchased vodka from your store. That's about as much as I can tell you.
So it wasn't a test purchase, it was just a report?
No, it wasn't a test purchase. The 12-year-old girl
12 years old
who bought vodka.
What page is it on the bundle, please, Gary?
What date?
Yeah, what page number on the bundle?
51.
50. Yeah.
51.
Yeah. I'm assuming the bundle was sent out to everybody, including Mr. Kapoor.
Yeah, I have got the bundle right in front of me here.
I have not received any bundle.
No need.
See, it also mentions a vape in there as well. It also mentions the vapes. And as I say, that one was after you'd been served with the review application.
Page 39 in my bundle. A Thames Valley report.
Starts at 37. My what I've got here starts at page 37, but the one I'm talking about is page 50, 51.
This is the one that said the report relates to a complaint by a parent that her daughter, 14-year-old, has been purchased alcohol from an off license. Is that the one you're talking about?
I think it's one. I think it was the lady whose niece, who was 12 years old and had purchased it, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, that
that's
happened
correct.
on 28th of January 2023. Is that the one?
No.
It's about 25.
It's April 2025.
Yes.
Can I ask if we can move on a little bit, as if we spend a while whilst you're reading that, I'm afraid we're going to waste a certain amount of time. Mr. Mr. Panchal, can I ask you if you would like to make any presentation or statement at this time?
Yes, Chair. We do want to make representations regarding. We have sent you supplementary information about the proposed conditions that we are asking you today to endorse to the premises. But before we do that, Chair, we would like to let you know that my client, Mr. Kapoor, has had these premises since January 2018, when he took over the premises and the shop. And during that period from 2018 onwards, I have got a lot of certificate of congratulations from the National Lottery, which was carried out on the 14/12/23 for not selling the lottery to an under 18, from the Camelot, which he passed. I then have the trading standards visit on 11/1/2024 when Mr. Kapoor passed the underage sales test purchase. Then again on 17th June 2024, the trading standards did another purchase, underage purchase, which Mr. Kapoor passed. A letter is here with me. Then there was another one carried out in 9 September 2024, which Mr. Kapoor passed. So there are 4 to 5 test purchases carried out at the shop during 2018 till today, till 2024. And all of them Mr. Kapoor has passed. So he hasn't sold any alcohol to underage. All those were passed through. He does have a comprehensive matters in its premises for promotion of 4 licensing objectives, Chair. He has cooperated with the Thames Valley Police in this instance. If you heard, I've asked Gary regarding during the trading standards, which have confirmed that as soon as he found that the alcohol was not correct and whatever possession he had, he immediately took it down to the trading standards to say, please destroy it. I do not want to keep it with me. So his intentions were not bad to keep it. During the COVID period also, he made all the efforts around the community to make sure he supplies the goods and everything to all the community around the shop, giving them the food and supplying to them during the COVID period. So Chair, he has got, the license does not have a lot of conditions at the present moment on it. And hence, we're trying to tighten that license up a bit, and that is why we proposed the extra conditions to be put up during this hearing to the license rather than a revocation. We've offered those conditions as you got it in the bundle. I don't think you want me to go through each and every. There are about 23 conditions that we are proposing to be put up with the license. Chair, apart from that, we feel, yes, there was a problem with Mr. Kapoor, has agreed regarding the purchase of those alcohol, but he has apologized. He has cooperated with the responsible authorities, as Glenda has confirmed that the bottles were brought up for destroyed. And he has make sure that such thing does not happen again.
I even informed all my community, who the people I know in this same business. I even explained, and I even expand this information to all of my friends and family, that the mistake I've made it, nobody else should make it. So I did try, because that selling something which is no good, which is harm, is not going to make me living, you know, because that's my living, that's my business, and this is my living, this is my bread and butter, and I feed my family for it. So I will never give somebody something which put me in problem and which put anyone else in the problem. So that's why I totally agree. I made a big mistake, which I've learned my lesson, and I even told my community, I even told everybody I know about this, that there can be no further things happen to anyone.
So, Chair, that's what our presentation is. We request that, yes, we agree this matter was a serious matter. So we're proposing not a loss of license, a revocation of the license, but we are happy for a short suspension as a punishment for what Mr. Kapoor has carried out, plus an additional conditions to be added in the license to tighten it up. But Chair, that is what we are in your presentation. We are happy to take any questions.
Thank you. Are there any questions from the subcommittee?
Yes, I have one.
Go, Rebecca.
So according to the report, there are 3 underage sales attempts that were failed. So there were 3 occasions where there were sales that were underage, so you failed to pass that test. So based on that, and that is in between the period from 2022 to 24. So why did you not change your procedures then, based on the fact that you failed those underage tests then?
The procedures were changed at the premises, ma'am. There were strict trainings carried out to the staff. Some of them were carried out by the staff. So there were strict trainings carried out to the staff. There were 2 staffs set up to be sent to our company for further trainings.
Because what it is, it was a staff who made a mistake, and then one of the staff, I've given him full training, and then he still, because he was on the phone, and I was on the phone and I just served it. So I put him back on the training to Mr. Panchal's office. So they're fully trained now. But since then it was another 2 or 3 test purchases been done, and I was passed in that one.
Okay.
Stephen, you have anything?
Yes, thank you, Chair. I think you've tried to address the issue of the products that were counterfeit, but there's also reference to products being sold that had no duty. I wondered what your explanation for that was, please. I've got other questions, but I'll come to those in a moment.
Duty.
Is it for me?
Yes.
Okay, the one it wasn't sold to the duty. It was a few bottles of vodka which was behind in the storeroom. It wasn't sold. It wasn't in the shelf. So that was just my private bottles, which I got it from the duty free, as I explained it in the trading standard as well. And the bottles we had in the shelf, that was a duty paid, as Glenda knows, I think.
And all of your staff would be aware not to put those ones in the storeroom out on the shelves?
Yes.
Okay, and what signage did you have to show that?
Signage means they know that these are the bottles that they were for me, so I had to put it in a storeroom. It was not for sale. They knew that.
Okay, so you're using the shop premises as your own private sort of storage place?
I apologize for it. Yeah, it's
You're wrong with that.
Yes.
Okay. I can see in the records that you're the designated premises supervisor. Obviously, the shop is open quite long hours, and you're not there now because you're in this meeting, obviously. So, how many other designated premises supervisors do you have that work in the shop, and do you always have one on duty at all times the shop is open?
No.
Sorry, Chair. There could only be one DPS on a premises. You cannot have two DPSs. There will be only one designated premises supervisor on there, but there is other staff who are trained and hold a personal license. So there's one staff who holds a personal license, and the authorization is given to all the staff.
Right. Okay. So all staff are trained.
Yes.
Know how to control the sale of alcohol, know how to do the challenges, do the legal checks, and so on.
Yes.
They're all trained and authorized.
Okay.
There can only be one DPS on the premises or any premises.
I understand that. Thank you for clarifying. I just thought that there should be somebody. It's like thinking about in a chemist. You'd always have somebody who's got the appropriate training or qualifications to sell alcohol at all times, isn't it? They may not be the DPS, but you understand where I'm coming from.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. I noted, and you've referred to it a few times, about these the conditions that you're proposing to be added. I was thinking about this in terms of if I worked in the shop, I'd want to have that already there. Because I know you could have done this voluntarily already. And so what I'm thinking is if I work there, and there have been accusations made, I'd want those sort of protections there to protect me, so I can evidence through the CCTV or the logbook or whatever that I've done exactly the right thing. It's a fake claim that's been made against me, and here's my evidence to support that I'm completely done all the right things. I've done everything I should have done. So, and you've talked about training that's been done for the staff. So I'm just wondering, in your professional view, Mr. Panchal, because I believe from what was said that you've done some training in this field, that was mentioned by Mr. Kapoor. I'm just wondering why, if this is best practice, these things weren't done voluntarily, irrespective of any requirement from the licensing.
The staff has always been trained at the premises, even prior to these conditions coming in. The CCTV has always been there. It's part of a mandatory condition, although it's not a condition, but we always had, and the premises always has a CCTV since 2018 and before then. So the CCTV is already working, although that is not part of the condition. What we are saying today is we are strengthening the license by putting those conditions on the license, which are not there. But all of these things, the refusal book, the incident book, are practiced at the premises from the beginning 2018 onwards.
So, okay, thank you for that. So where we've got these suggestions and accusations of people being sold products, and there's quite a list of them, are all of these recorded in the book where you can show that they didn't happen? Or are you saying these accusations are fake? Or was it that the staff made a mistake? I'm just trying to understand why we've got so many accusations, and yet you're saying that in your view, these things haven't happened, other than you've admitted that you bought this counterfeit vodka from somebody and you've learnt your lesson from that. I'm just wondering about all these other things where we've had people who've gone in as a test and they've failed. It just doesn't seem that the things are working properly.
We failed twice and we passed 5 times, sir. If you can see,
that's
sorry,
failing.
Could we ask for some clarification from trading standards for that, because it doesn't tally with the report that we've got?
No.
It doesn't tell you the past ones. It will only tell you the failed ones. If you look at the past ones, we did pass few times as well, and mostly because if you see my refusal books, we've got hundreds of refusal books, which I've strictly told my staff when I'm not there, they must fill it up. So we have got everything placed,
Glenda, is it possible for you to expand on that, or is that data that you don't have to hand?
I'm not the lead officer for underage sales, so I don't have the ins and outs of each of these specific operations. But what the information that I do have is that there was 3 underage sales test purchases carried out at the premise between the years of 2022 and 2024. So over a 2-year period, 3 underage was test purchased. This is
right. And Mr.
there was 1 failure, and only passed 1 in 2023/24. So after the initial failure of 1, which was in the December 2023, a further 1 was done after that, and then Mr. Kapoor's premise passed that test purchase. But the details, the individual details of each of those underage test purchases, I haven't got that to hand.
And Mr. Panchal or Mr. Kapoor, you say that you've passed a number of others. Can you tell me when those were?
Yeah, on September 2024, it was passed. Then 17th June 2024, there was a pass. These are letters from the trading standards of pass. And 11/1 January 2024, the test purchase was passed. So all these 3 test purchases, and in 2023, May 2023 also, test purchase was passed. And then there was another one carried out by Camelot, the lottery people, and that was also passed in 4/12/2023.
Okay, thank you.
Chair, I'm sorry. I don't know if you've seen, I think Alec has got something to say. I don't know if you can see his hand up. He may well be contributing to this.
Okay, Alec.
Thank you, Chair. Just to add on what Councillor Newson has said, we appreciate the proposal of some more conditions. We would welcome that. But if you look at the licence, there is already a couple of conditions on sale refusals and age verification. And when I last visited the premises in April last year, I noticed some Challenge 25 signs on display. So yes, whilst we welcome the proposed added conditions, perhaps Mr. Panchal or Mr. Kapoor could explain to the committee how adding more conditions would help resolve these concerns that have been raised.
Mr. Panchal, before you answer that, because I'm just going to ask another question which relates exactly to that, because I notice in many of the conditions that you're proposing, you're talking about the CCTV, which you say is already in existence. This would simply be adding conditions to the licence. So I'm slightly at a loss to see how that would actually improve the situation. Perhaps you might answer that at the same time.
Yeah, Chairman, I'm looking at a lot of premises in the past, or a lot of premises when the Licensing Act 2003 came in, because I've been in that part for quite a long time, since when it came in 2003, and we do understand that a lot of premises do not have proposed conditions onto their premises, and such a thing has come up in lots of hearings whereby the legal department would argue and say, well, it is not there is no premises on it. Sorry, Chair. It is. You take it, please. So those conditions make tighten up the licensing matters when we come to such hearings, and it becomes any of these licensing conditions laid out onto the premises, and if they are breached, it becomes under Section 135 as a criminal offence and can be prosecuted. At the moment, I'm seeing the license on page 14 of the proposed conditions. They are very vague, and this will become quite enforceable. to the responsible authorities when they are up in their visits at the premises to say you have 23, there are 23 conditions, and any of those broken would become a breach, which would be under sections 13536 would be a prosecution and could land up into 6 months imprisonment and unlimited fine.
Alec, does that address any of your questions?
Well, I mean, yes, I appreciate that, but the conditions are already there. So how would adding conditions make a difference is what I was hoping that Mr. Panchal might be able to answer to the committee.
Yeah. The conditions are not very clear, Alex. What I'm saying is these conditions that we're laying out are much more clearer and much more better than what you see on page 14 of the premises license, PRO 226. So we modified and made it much more clearer than what you see on page 14 of the present license, when it says doors and door frames are enforced to the prevention of crime and disorder. Fitted alarm, fitted CCTV, policy to be in place regarding handling of cash on the premises. Now we're making the CCTV, fitted CCTV, we're making the CCTV more precise by saying it has to be installed to Home Office guidance standards and maintained in a good working condition. Recording shall be kept for 31 days. The condition presently does not state that it has to be 31 days.
With all due respect, Mr. Panchal, that's not really addressing Alec's point nor mine, in that you stating that the CCTV is already there and functioning. Adding conditions to the license does make it more enforceable, but I'm not sure that it would actually make any significant change, considering you're telling us that you already have this equipment, you're already being used, you're already conforming to these things. So making an enforceable part of the license doesn't change behaviour as far as I can see.
If I put it in the perspective of what we've got at the moment on the premises regarding CCTV, it says number 3 on page 14, fitted CCTV. It doesn't stress how long the CCTV should be working. It could be 28 days, it could be what. But presently, the legal law of the Licensing Act says it should be 31 days. So we've now stressed it in our condition to say the CCTV should be working 31 days. And what system should be there? They should be capable of obtaining clear facial recognition images and a clear head and shoulders image of every person entering or leaving the premises. So there are specified CCTV conditions that we're laying out to see how robustly the CCTV would be working at the premises. A staff member should be trained in conversant with the operation of CCTV. Nothing of that sort presently says in the present condition.
Okay, all right. Thank you for that. I'm going to go to Stephen because he's got some more questions, but just as a warning, it's 11 o'clock at the moment. If we haven't completed this review by 11:30, we're going to have to adjourn it and come back at a later point. But hopefully we'll have concluded the main part of it by then. Stephen, back to you.
Well, thank you. Well, Rebecca was actually first. I'm just wondering if we should be.
My apologies. I didn't spot the number. You're quite right. Rebecca was first. Sorry, Rebecca.
Don't worry, thank you. Mr. Panchal, maybe you could address the concern that I have. Regardless of what CCTV you have, it doesn't address the concerns about the multitude of activities that are going on there. So it's the CCTV and monitoring it does not address the issue that's going on of illicit e-cigarettes that have been reported, the selling of vapes, the selling of alcohol. So regardless of the CCTV, there's an underlying issue here of poor practice from the licence holder. You're not addressing the actual issue that's going on here.
Ma'am, I can go through, as we just discussed about the CCTV, how the conditions are stressed from the previous one to the CCTV.
Yeah, I've heard that, and I've heard what you've said, but I don't feel it's addressing the underlying issue, the actual practice that is going on, because you can record the practice, but it's not actually stopping the practice that's going on, which is is happening from the actual staff within the shop, whoever's selling these products. So I think that's just my point I would like to address.
Yes, ma'am, if you turn over and look at the other conditions, one at a time, it will answer what your question is. Prevention of children from harm, condition number 18 that we are proposing, which says challenge 25 will be in force, where any person looking under the age of 25 shall be asked to prove their age when attempting to purchase alcohol, and signs to this effect. So this condition, the staff when employed will have to go through this condition to understand that during his duties, this is what he has to carry out according to the condition. IDs must be asked. A refusal book must be kept on the premises updated and noted when the refusal is asked. A sign stating no proof of age, no sale shall be displayed at the point of sale. So that is something else that covers the protection of children from harm. One of the conditions, one of the objectives of the Licensing Act. For public safety, we put down fire exit signs has to be displayed. So prevention of public nuisance, we've noticed displayed asking customer to leave quietly. We've gone through the strict policy in place to all staff members to serve alcohol, not to drunks at all. So those are conditions laid out which the staff during their first employment in the first hour must be trained and gone through with all the conditions that they should adhere to when they are working. So there is a vast 23 conditions. I just mentioned in the beginning what the CCTV conditions were, but if you go through all the other conditions that do promote the 4 licensing objectives robustly.
Stephen, sorry, Rebecca, is that fine? What do you got? Okay, Stephen.
Thank you, Rob. I just trying to follow up. I mean, Rebecca partly covered the points I was concerned about, but I just want to come back at that. You're offering these up as additional conditions, but I would have thought these would be best practice, and therefore you would have voluntarily be doing this anyway in your everyday business, because
they are. Sorry to come back to you. Yes, they are doing it since 2018. They are following it. I'm not saying they're not following it. We're not giving these conditions in to say that, oh, you should do it now. But they were doing it from 2018 till now. They have following it. That is why they have had so many passes regarding the underage sales. Yes, they have had a few which were not passed, but they have had about 4 to 5 passes through. They have got the refusal book from the time they've taken over the premises. So it is not that they're not taken over, but all we are doing is we are putting these conditions as more stressed up and what we are doing presently to make it into a condition. Okay. So it's not something that they are going to start now. It has already been in place since the beginning of their trade in 2018.
Okay, on that basis,
very unfortunate. It was very unfortunate that the bankrupt stuff came up because somebody said that they've closed the shop down and can you buy this off? And as soon as he found out that they were counterfeit, whatever extra bottles he had, he immediately ran to the trading standards and said, here there is, please destroy this also. I'm left with it.
I get that, but I don't want to just get hung up on the bankrupt stock. That's just one very small element within the whole thing. If I can refer you to pages 29 and 30 of the report, and then also to the Thames Valley Police report, this is a list of situations and examples which trading standards have been investigating based upon reports that they've received from members of the public. Then you've got the Thames Valley Police report. Sorry, I haven't got the page for that just at the moment, but I'll get to it. So it's pages 29 and 30. And then in the Thames Valley Police report, page 37. Thank you. Yeah, I was getting there. It then says, in addition to all of those listed by trading standards, they have other examples. And so this is, I get that they've passed some tests. I mean, crumbs, you'd hope they would be passing every test. But this just seems to be that for this number of people to have reported things to trading standards, and we know full well that probably for every report made, there'll be a lot of reports that aren't made. People don't bother, or they don't know, or they don't follow it up. So this could be a small percentage of what's actually going on, but let's not assume that. We're not going to assume stuff. Let's just go with this as the facts. And what I don't understand now, from what you just said to me, that these people are fully trained, are you saying that all of these people are lying, or are you accepting that each of these incidents actually happened? Because we're getting hung up on this thing about the counterfeit vodka, but there's an awful lot more stuff in here that's causing alarm and concern.
Okay, I have an answer for you, sir, because I'm not saying people. Sometimes what it is that people send someone to buy a drink for them. Sometimes they send someone over the age and they buy the drinks from. Sometimes they have a fake ID. Sometimes the children's parents come and buy a drink for them. We can't say no to them. But nowadays, since it happened to me, I even got a machine which will tell me which is the proper fake ID and which is not fake ID. So even I put that one in the place, and even I told my staff, if you see someone is coming, like a boy came in and asked for a vodka, and we refused him. As soon as he go out, someone came in and asked for the same thing. So we ask him, is it for you, or if you're buying for a child, it's illegal to buy for a child? Because sometimes they do get the drinks through somewhere, and then when they go home, their parents come to us. So these things happen with us as well. But our main thing is when they came in, no ID, no sale. That's what I do, and that's what I tell my staff. That's it. Because selling a couple of bottles of vodka or beer will not make me life easy. This will make because this is a community. This is a community shop, and I didn't want to say that, but because I am I'm so good with this community. Even the COVID time, people still remember me. Even the COVID time, when there was when people were locked down, I go personally myself. I put a mask on, and I was delivering people milk, bread, and everything. And I don't want anybody to have a problem from my shop, or any children. So all I'm saying is mistakes happen. I try to do the best, and I will definitely try to do the best I can. I will do the best if I get one more chance.
I understand what you're saying, but Rob, sorry, I know Alex and Rachel want to come in. So do you want to bring them in?
Well, I was hoping. I'm just gonna. I know, Alec, you're next, but I'm just gonna go to Rachel in case there's a legal question here.
It's just really through you, Chair. We've heard about how the staff are authorised, and obviously Mr. Kapoor is in overall responsibility as the DPS. Can I just ask, Mr. Kapoor, are you the DPS of this shop only, or do you have other shops?
No, just this shop.
And how much time do you spend at this shop?
I'm there every day. Every single day I'm there, even if it's because what it is, I've got disabled dad. I need to take him to hospital 3 times a week. So I take him to hospital for dialysis, and I bring him back, and then I come straight to the shop. I'm here every day unless I have some emergency or somewhere I have to go.
And you've said about you're taking your father to hospital. We don't need your address. This is being live streamed. But do you live nearish the shop?
No, I live about 35 miles away from the shop.
Thank you.
Alec.
Thank you, Chair. I won't say any more on this because I think it's been gone over a few times now. But just to sort of reiterate what I was saying earlier, looking at the licence, there's already a condition on there that says staff will check the ID if anyone is underage, and there'll be signage up saying it's an offence for someone under the 18 years to buy or attempt to buy alcohol. Signs that say no ID, no sale. And when I visited last year, I did see Challenge 25 signs, so to that effect. So if these incidents have happened since then, how would proposing slightly more robust, detailed conditions really have any effect? Is what I would ask the committee to consider, but I won't say any more than that.
I think that's fine. That's the same question that's been raised a couple of times, so thanks very much for that. Stephen, do you have any? You've still got your hand up. Do you have anything else you'd like to? Okay, fine, we're done.
I'm a bit like a dog with a bone on this one, I'm afraid. Can you just explain to me? We've got reports here of cannabis-based products being sold. Can you just explain what cannabis-based products you stock in the shop, please?
I have got no idea what cannabis product they're talking about. I have never have anything like that, and I've never got to be honest, I don't know nothing about it. Cannabis product.
They don't sell. They don't stock any cannabis product.
Some people they just talk. Some people. To be honest, some people they don't like shopping in the small shops. They just, if there is something happening, they just jump in and complain about it. But cannabis, there's no way we don't do these things.
I actually think that small shops are vital for local communities. So I'd be disappointed if anybody has a different view to that. But I accept what you say. Can I ask Glenda or Gary, have you seen any evidence when your people have been there of cannabis-based products being sold in the shop?
Not from me, no.
Not from me, no.
Okay, thank you. So we might think that that's not happening then. Okay, thank you. That's useful. So we have got these reports which you've seen in the report here, and we then got the investigations that the police have done separately. So I'm still at a bit of a loss, and I think other members of the committee are as well, as to what actually is going to change if we just simply added these conditions. And you're saying you're already working to them. What is actually going to change going forward? I'm not really sure what benefit that's going to bring. If we're getting these issues now, what change is that going to bring? How do you see it helping?
The changes are already there. Since the visit of Glenda and the police, Mr. Kapoor has been more vigilant. Let's put it like that, and is looking into the shop in a more. He has done it in the past, but he's pulled up his socks much more higher than what it should be, and I think these conditions. That's our suggestion for the conditions to be laid out on the premise. Although it has, but this is more in detail of the conditions. But the premises is following and promoting the 4 licensing objectives. You could see on page 61 onwards people who have written back to the council during this for this review of how well they think the shop is working, or how well the owners are conducting themselves in a responsible manner.
Okay, thank you. Can I just kind of move on really, because I think we're basically going over the same ground now. So can I just ask therefore if we've got any of the relevant parties that have any further questions? Glenda, do you have any further questions?
No, thank you.
And Gary?
I think you just answered one of my questions when I was going to ask whether he lived above the shop, because I'm still extremely concerned about these 12 bottles of vodka in the storeroom with no duty paid, how they've managed to accumulate 12 bottles. Being obviously working for the police, I have my suspicions on that one. The bankrupt stock, which we've discussed. Do we know whether that's the first time that he's purchased this bankrupt stock? How did he get this contact, this person who has gone out of business? How did he just suddenly happen to be outside his store? Yeah, there's a lot of stuff there that is extremely
Fine.
Dubious, in my opinion.
Okay, I'm probably going to ask you to effectively repeat that in a moment. But Glenda, in that case, if we don't have any further questions, Glenda, can I ask you to basically sum up your position?
Hi, yes. As I say, sort of what our service was looking for, as I sort of said at my opening speech, was the reasons for submitting the application was that we'd felt that we'd, gone through as much as we could go through with the business, and the request was to revoke the license, or at the very least to suspend the license and vary the conditions, to ensure that the 4 licensing objectives are being met. I hear that Mr. Picard has sort of put forward some suggestions with regards to what licensing conditions could be added to the license, which would require them to be enforced, should they be fouled. I do also have concerns with regards to the implementation of that, in the sense that, as we've already laboured the point, what change will it make? So for us, as I say, it what we're looking at is for compliance, and for the underage sales to stop, and for the business to engage and not allow it to happen. Have more robust systems in place, more training, and that the people that are on board in the store are not selling. That's it for us.
Thank you.
Okay.
Gary, although you might have already just done so, but can I ask you to summarise your position?
Yeah, as I say, apologies, but basically the only other thing I was going to say was, obviously with the purchase of the bankrupt stock, and in our opinion, the likelihood of the sale of duty-free stock, it's just a clear indication that the DPS is profiteering. That's all he's really worried about, is the bottom line. Talking about the test purchase and the information we've had regarding underage sales. Normally when we go and do an inspection, at the end of that inspection, we would let them know quite clearly that the reason we were there was because of these complaints, and that they could expect a test purchase a little bit further down the line. The fact that they failed some of those test purchases only confirms our worst fear with respect to the adherence to protecting children from harm. And that really is just about it. I mean, the amount of evidence on this premise leads us with no alternative but to recommend revocation of the licence. The conditions that have been offered, as we've been discussed, they're a fairly basic set of conditions that you would expect in any modern convenience store should a new application be received today. The existing conditions on the licence do cover the CCTV and the underage sales, and they have said themselves they've already got, in theory, good practice for recording the refusals and staff training. So by putting simply those conditions onto the license is not going to change, in my opinion, how that store is operated. And the final element of proof to that, to me, is the fact that even they've been served with a review application, they continue to sell to a 12-year-old a bottle of vodka. Thank you.
All right. And Mr. Panchal, can I ask you to summarise your position?
Yes, thank you very much, Chair. We do understand the revocation asked by Gary, and Glenda's asked for a revocation with the next would be the conditions, the suspension. The business is a critical source of income for Mr. Kapoor and his family, and we feel that revocation would cause a severe economic hardship to the family. So we feel, since they've been running it since 2018 and have a full cooperation with the responsible authorities, and are concerned with what has happened, and are making sure that it does not happen again, or it won't happen to another part of the community, we are asking for a short-term suspension to be served for what has been caused, and these conditions be put up into the licensing as conditions laid out, and that's what our submission is, Chair.
Thank you very much. And as reading my notes, I realise that I'm supposed to let the applicant have the final word. Glenda, do you have any last words to say?
Do you have any last words?
Glenda.
Not for you to say any last words.
For Glenda.
For Glenda.
Yeah.
No, just to reiterate what I've already previously said. Thank you.
All right. I think that concludes the public portion of this. Thank you all very much for attending. The subcommittee and advisors will stay on. For the rest of you, we will obviously be in touch once we've made our decision, and you'll be formally communicated with. But from the point of view of the subcommittee, thank you very much for your time and attendance today, and